Peace, peace. What's going on, everybody, man? Give everybody a chance to tune on in. Before I start building on the subject matter for the day, hopefully everybody is having a powerful Monday thus far. Had a powerful and productive weekend, man. We about to do some building, man. So I'm going to give everybody a chance to tap in with your boy before I start building, diving into the subject matter. What's the word? How everybody living? How everybody feeling? Talk to me before I start talking to y'all. Y'all know how it go, man. What's the word? Talk to me, man. I got a lot to say in regards to this particular subject matter, man. So go ahead, let me know what's the word before I start venting. Eli, peace. What's going on with you? Beautiful Goddess Keys, peace, Queen. What's going on? Wilbert, peace. Justin, peace. What's the word, man? How y'all living? How y'all holding up? Hopefully y'all building, being productive, efficient, healthy, all that good stuff, man. Hopefully y'all had y'all fruits this morning, man. Fruits in that water. Underdrifter, peace. What's happening? Javon, peace. It's Donnie, peace. What's going on? You already know. We can only go up from here. Humble King J, peace. Terenzo, free my brother Terenzo, man. They got him locked down again. Facebook jail. Andronicus, peace. What's happening? But yeah, Miss Donnie, we can only go up from here, man. They can't stop us. They can't stop us. They didn't try once. They didn't try it a few times on all these different platforms. They can't stop us. They can't stop the message from spreading. They can't do it. They can't do it. They can keep trying, though. Colleen, peace. What's happening, man? Good to be back. Good to be back, man. They trying to threaten us out here, trying to make us watch what we say, man. But we ain't got time for that. We gonna say what needs to be said out here, man. We gonna say what needs to be said. We gonna put the message out here by any means necessary, as Brother Malcolm said. Andronicus, for sure. Social media is the feds, period. Social media is the feds, period. Like all these platforms, man, it's the feds, man. It's the feds. So that the feds on all these platforms, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of that. It's all the feds, man. So we got to understand that. That's why we can't give them all the information. We can't give them all the intel. So we got to watch what we say on. We literally got to watch what we say on here because they watching. That's Big Brother, as they call it. But it is what it is, man. They can't stop it though. They can't stop it. They can try, but they not gonna stop it though, man. But we talking about, man, today, the subject matter for the day, Sharif and peace. What's happening? The subject matter for the day is pertaining to my brothers out here, man, in regards to releasing that stored rage, that anger, that pain, that frustration. A lot of brothers, man, we are out here suffering emotionally, just mentally. And a lot of times we either feel like we don't have an outlet in regards to being able to vent, or we just feel like it makes us soft, man, because we done been conditioned to view things in that light. So a lot of times, rather than expressing ourselves, we will hold it in. And that stems from conditioning. Because you know how I go when you come across a brother that's doing a lot of venting, man, that's just letting it out or crying. Normally, we get viewed in a negative light when we do that. So a lot of times, man, brothers don't feel like they have a safe place to vent. And this is causing a lot of problems, man. I don't know about y'all, man, but I've dealt with like anger issues and temper issues and things of that nature, man. I literally have dealt with this my whole entire life. I've dealt with anger and temper issues my entire life, man. It does not take much to get me started. And most of the time, and this is how it works for me, most of the time when I'm in a situation where I lose it, it wasn't like whatever it was at that point in time that caused me to lose the temper, to cause me to snap and go off. Like that really wasn't even the issue. The problem was all of the problems that I didn't had leading up to that point that I did not face, that I did not deal with. And that one little situation was just what they call it, man. That one little situation, man, was just caused me to snap. But that was for me holding in all that anger, all that frustration, all that rage. So a lot of times, most of the time when a brother snaps, like whatever it was that caused them to go off, that wasn't even that. It was something small. It was something light. And you like, dang, man, why this dude snapping over that? Well, it's because, man, my brother didn't went 5 to 10 years, man, dealing with a bunch of nonsense and didn't address it because he didn't feel like he have a place to vent, and he just held it all in. So it's that one little small situation that caused him to snap, man. Like, it's just crazy. Like, man, it'd be something light, man. I know y'all have been there, done that, man. It'd just be something real light, man. And you just snap like it's World War III in this joint. And everybody looking at you like, dang, man, what you on? Like, why are you this mad? Like, why this situation make you this mad? It's like, man, it wasn't even that situation. It's all the stuff you've been dealing with, man. And it just came out. So that's why it's really not necessarily the healthiest thing, man, to be holding in all of that anger, man, all of that frustration, all of that rage, man. When you hold it in, it comes out all the time at the wrong time. Like, it never fails. And I've had this problem my whole entire life. I'm just now learning to master this situation, man. I'm just now learning to master it because I'm like, just me being, man, my personality type, man, is just kind of crazy. It's unorthodox, man. I'm one of the ones just being like an introvert and a loner and things like that, and still striving to deal with people. And I'm not really confrontational, and that stems from me just not really caring to deal with a lot of people. So a lot of times, man, people will do something because, you know, I'm forced to deal with people, man. We live in the wilderness in North America. We got to interact with people. So when I'm interacting with people, man, people will do some things that I don't like, but the way my personality type is set up, I don't really care to be interacting with the person to let them know like what they did kind of frustrated me. So I just, you know what I'm saying? I just eat it. Like, all right, man, they did that. I ain't really too much care for it, but I don't care enough to address the situation. Like, I don't feel like having a conversation with the person because I'm not too fond of people. So that always caused me to hold in a lot of anger and frustration because I never really care to talk to people like that. And that's not really healthy, man. Instead of me just addressing the situation, I just eat it. Like, man, I don't even feel like having this conversation. I don't feel like talking. I don't feel like this person saying something dumb to me. So you know what? They said something I don't like. I'm going to just keep it pushing, keep it moving. And I would do that, man. A lot of those, and that stuff adds up, man. That stuff adds up. So I got one of those personality types to where it can be dangerous, man. Like, a lot, like people doing things that frustrate you, but you don't really want to address it because you don't really care to be talking to people. Like, that's like a double negative out here, man. And I wrestled with that my entire life. Like, yeah, man, they did something. I don't like the way they did that. I don't like the way they did me, but I still don't care to have this conversation with them because I don't feel like talking to people. Like, I don't feel like dealing with people. And a lot of times that just caused me to just bypass situations that frustrated me, you know, for the longest, man. Like, I'm like, man, I need to address such and such, but I don't feel like talking to them. I don't feel like having this conversation. Just don't feel like dealing with it, man. And that's where things like journaling, like that's when I got real deep off into like music and just rap. That's when people say hip hop saved my life. Like, honestly, man, when I started to rap, like that was my place to vent, man. That's when I got a lot off my chest when I would like rap and do music, man. So I was thankful for music, man. I got into writing rhymes in like the 5th grade. And that's when I got a lot of things off my chest. Just writing them down. I was like, all right, man, I ain't really trying to address all these people because I don't really care about these people like that. So I'm going to just get everything off my chest via these rhymes, via this journal. Like, that is something that I always recommend to grown men. I don't care what you think. I don't care what you think. Keep you a journal. Journal. I don't care how you think that look. Journaling is something that can save your life, and I'm sure of that. I'm sure of that. Get you a journal, black man. You know, our sisters, they do a lot of this. They write their thoughts down, man. A lot of them don't have this problem. They'll walk around with that journal. They'll jot them thoughts down. But somewhere down the line, we think that that's like feminine. So a lot of dudes don't walk around with that journal, man. Keep that journal on you. Keep that journal on you, man. And when you're going through something like mentally, man, jot it down. I gave that piece of advice to a brother here just earlier this morning that's going through some things. I said, bro, listen. Journal, write it down, man. Write down exactly how you feeling. Write it down verbatim, like everything that you feeling, write it down. Don't leave anything out. Write it down. I'm telling you, that's going to save your life, man, especially when you do it on a consistent basis. Writing is like my therapy, man. Just journaling is my therapy. When I'm able to just get a notebook, because that notebook, one thing that notebook ain't going to do, it ain't going to judge you. It ain't going to argue with you. So when you got that journal and when you just writing everything down, man, it's not judging you. That journal, that notebook, that page, it ain't talking back to you. And a lot of times when you talking to other people, that's the problem. A lot of people don't understand the art of listening. So when you got some things that you didn't store, that you need to unleash, and you try to bring it to other people, a lot of times, man, let's just be real. A lot of times when you bring your problems to other people, they don't really care about it. And rightfully so, because they have their own problems to deal with. So a lot of people don't understand the art of listening. And a lot of times we don't need advice. We just need for you to sit back and listen to what it is that I'm saying. Let me get this off my chest. I don't need you to judge me. I don't need you to tell me what I'm saying is right or wrong. I just need you to listen. And a lot of people don't understand that. So a lot of times that's why I don't even waste time trying to vent, because, man, I don't need for you to tell me what to do. I don't need for you to tell me what I'm thinking is right. I don't need for you to tell me what I'm thinking is wrong. I just need for you to listen. Like, just allow me to get this off my chest without you judging me, without you critiquing what I'm saying, without you examining, analyzing, without you saying anything, without you even responding. Just listen. A lot of people don't have time for that, man. A lot of people just are not genuinely trying to listen. So a lot of times, man, that is what would prevent me from even like just releasing that type of energy to another person, man. Because again, like I said, let's just be honest, man. A lot of people don't care about your problems, because, and rightfully so, because we all dealing with our own problems. So at the end of the day, man, people just pretty much, all right, yep, he said what he said, and then they're going to try to tell you what you need to do and all that type of stuff, man. So that's what it boils down to. And 9 times out of 10, that's what it's going to result in. Somebody trying to tell you what you need to do based on that situation. A lot of times that's not what we need. That's not what we need, man. Honestly, man. Honestly, sometimes people just need for you to listen. Montel, peace, what's happening? Just listen to them. No judgment. No judgment. Just listen. How many times have you been able to vent to a person and they just listen? They didn't add any input. They just listened to what it is you had to say, and that was it. That was it. A lot of times, man, black men, like, just honestly speaking, a lot of times, man, brothers don't have that outlet, man. Now, we got some honest sisters out here, man, that will allow brothers to vent, get everything off their chest, and not judge them. We do have that out here. But for the most part, society is going to judge the black man when he tries to vent, man. They view that as crying. They view that as complaining, as if a black man ain't really going through things out here in life, man. We done been through some traumatic experiences as children as well. Like, man, black boys done been molested and touched as little boys and things like that, man. We done all been through some things in our younger years that have affected us, you know. And a lot of people don't understand that, and a lot of people claim to understand that but really don't, you know. So a lot of people be trying to tell us, you know, how we need to go about dealing with these emotions and dealing with the things that we done went through, man. But at the end of the day, they haven't walked in our shoes. They haven't walked in our shoes at all, man. So a lot of times, man, we got to do better too as brothers, just listening to one another. You will be surprised, man, when you just allow another brother to vent. You will be surprised how much we have in common as brothers, man. That's why we are brothers. So a lot of times, man, we got to do better in regards to dealing with one another, just allowing one another to vent, like allowing another brother to vent to you. You know, so we gotta start listening to our brothers more, man. Like brother on brother. We got to get better at that. Oh yeah, you say the journal could be to record a voice note. Oh, for sure. Antoinette, peace. What's happening, Queen? Eli, and that's what it is, man. We get called emotional when you venting, and that's a problem. And the reason why that's a problem, if you vent and somebody calls you emotional, why are we viewing being emotional as something that's negative? See, being emotional is not negative. Being emotional is not positive. There is a lot of pros and cons to being emotional. So when people say, oh, you venting, you too emotional, so what? I'm supposed to be emotional. I done been through some things in life, man. I done had some traumatic experiences. I done been betrayed. Like I done dealt with, like I done went through my ups and downs in life. Trials and tribulations that hit me hard. Why am I not supposed to be emotional? What's wrong with a grown man being emotional? Ain't nothing wrong with emotions, being emotional. It's a part of life. Nothing is wrong with it. Like emotional is not something that's negative, but a lot of times that's how we view it. When somebody say, "Oh, you emotional," then we view that in a negative light. Nah, being emo ain't nothing wrong with being emotional. Nothing is wrong with that. What's wrong with what's wrong with a brother being emotional? What's wrong with it? As long as he don't stay in that state, then we good. But if for a brief 20, 30 minutes, a brother is emotional, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with it? How is that negative? How is that destructive? How is that making him less of a man? If for like 20, 30 minutes, man, he just pouring his heart out and he just being a little emotional in 20, 30 minutes. Now, if he's spending 20 hours out the day being emotional and he doing this 7 days a week, now we got a problem. Now we got a problem. But if a brother just needs to get something off his chest 20, 30 minutes, what's wrong with that, man? What's wrong with that? We got to stop viewing being emotional in a negative light. Even when we critique our sisters and we call them emotional, there's nothing wrong with that, man. There's a place for emotions and there's a place for logic and reason. We need both of those. Neither one is better than the other. You can find a lot of jewels out of emotions. You can find a lot of jewels out of being logical, reasonable, dealing with reason. So we need both of them, man. We need both. We need the emotional side. We need the logical side. You can learn a lot from both sides. Neither one is negative. Neither one is positive. They just are what they are. The emotional side, logical side. You have the person that's emotional. You have the person that's logical. And for the most part, we a little bit of both. For the most part, we're going to have moments where we logical. Then we're going to have moments where we emotional. That's everybody. That's everybody. Eli, man, that's how I go, man. That's how I go for the most part. What you will come to understand if you are a decent listener, if you have semi-mastered the art of listening, what you will come to understand in dealing with humanity is that you have no problem listening to everybody. You listen to everybody. You allow everybody to get everything off their chest, pour their heart out to you. But when it's time for you to vent, when it's time for the good listener to vent, don't have anybody to vent to, for the most part. That's how I go. That's how it go. Andronicus for sure. And even with that too, like they say, man, if like 100 people saw a car accident, they saw the same car accident, and if you ask the 100 people what happened, you're gonna get 100 different accounts of what happened. So even if we went through the same thing, the same traumatic experience, we are going to view it differently because that's just the way that we are. We different. We are individuals. So the same thing that you went through, you may view it in a different light than I view it, but we went through the same exact experience. And that's one reason why it's good to build with people that have been through some of the same things you've been through, because they may view it in another light that's different from you, and that may change and shift your whole paradigm and perspective. So you may have went through a traumatic experience, but you still holding on to that anger. And you may deal with a person that went through the same traumatic experience, but they learned to let it go. They learned to move past it. So you need that, man. So we need that different perspective. We need that different perspective from the person that went through the same thing that we went through. So we got to learn to listen to those different perspectives. A lot of times, man, when they say misery loves company, sometimes that's an actual fact. A lot of times we want to deal with people that didn't went through the same things that we didn't went through just so we can, you know what I'm saying? All right, man, it's other people that's going through this suffering just like me. Nah, we need to be like, all right, man, it's somebody that didn't went through the same thing that I went through, but they made it out okay. I want to talk to that person. I want to talk to that person. I don't want to talk to the people that's going through what I'm going through and they ain't able to cope with it. They just as miserable as I am. I don't want that company. I want to see the people that went through what I went through and they made it out on top. So we went through the same thing, but they figured out how to get over the hump. They figured out how to master the situation and the experience and how to move on and how to accept it, how to embrace it. That's who I want to talk to. We went through the same thing, but see, they up here with it and I'm down here with it. I want to learn how to get up there with it, man. That's who I want to talk to. So if it's somebody that went through what I went through and in my eyes, they didn't master it, they didn't accept it and moved on, like I want to chop it up with them. That's who I want to chop it up with. Wisely G's for sure, man. Like I said, man, like if a dude is just sitting around all day, every day, just being emotional, that's a different ball game, man. At that point, you're not dealing with a man. But it's nothing wrong for a man to sit there and, you know what I'm saying, get some things off his chest 20, 30 minutes. Nothing is wrong with that. Nothing is wrong with that at all. Matt Ricks for sure, man. That's what's crazy. Because again, and for the most part, the reason why you able to talk to random people is because they don't really, you know what I'm saying, they don't know you. They don't know you. And sometimes that's the best person to talk to right there, a person that don't know you, because they're not able to judge you based off of the life that you live. You know, a lot of times, man, when we talking to the people that know us, like they judging us based off of what they know about us and our past and things of that nature. And a lot of times that's not what we need. It's not what we need. We need that person that does not know us, man. That's an unbiased perspective. And a lot of times that's why it's easier to talk to that random person that you don't know, because unbiased. They can't judge you because they don't know you. They don't know you. They don't know the old you. They don't know the new you. Like, they don't know you. So they're able to view everything in that unbiased lens. They're able to empty the cup, you know? So that's what you need. So a lot of times that's why it's like beneficial to talk to strangers, man, because they don't know you. They can't judge you based off of your past and things of that nature. And that's what a lot of times, that's what so-called friends and family members do. They judge you based off your past and things like that, man. So that's why a lot of times it's hard to vent to them, because they just start judging you, man. It start getting a little ridiculous. Static, peace, what's happening? 5-star, peace, what's happening? Chris, to an extent, anger is the greatest virtue. That's only when you channel that energy in the proper direction. A lot of times people don't channel that energy in the proper direction. So anger itself is, again, it's like when I talked about being emotional. Anger itself is not good or bad. It's what you do with that energy that makes it good or bad. A lot of times, man, it's misdirected. Like, that energy is misdirected. We channel it in the wrong direction, and then it becomes destructive. So if you're not channeling that anger in the right direction, it's going to become destructive. It may destroy you, or it may destroy those that are around you, your loved ones, the people that's closest to you. And a lot of times that's what happens when you don't channel that anger in the proper direction. So you got to make sure you channel that anger in the proper direction for it to be the greatest virtue. But by itself, anger is not a virtue by itself. You got to make sure you channel it in that direction, in the proper direction, to make it a virtue that enables you to get things done using that energy. So it has the potential to be the greatest virtue. It's potential energy at that point. It becomes kinetic when we channel it. So anger of itself, like when we deal with something and we become angry, now it's potential energy. The kinetic energy is when we put it into motion, when we journal, when we exercise, when we haul off and get violent. Like, that's us channeling that energy, and that's when it has become kinetic. So anger by itself is nothing. Like, it's just anger. That's just what it is. We put it into motion, then it becomes a virtue, or it becomes a hindrance. It becomes destructive. Like, it becomes all of that. Tay, peace, queen, what's happening? What's happening? Definitely, I'm back, man. They couldn't hold me down. They couldn't hold me down. And yeah, Static, Thunder, peace, what's happening? And Static, and I like to talk about this from an introverted perspective as well. And this is why I've always held a lot of things in, because naturally I'm an introvert. So a lot of times when a person is an extrovert, they don't really have this problem. Being an introvert, you have this problem because you already don't want to talk to people. So like when you go through a situation, you naturally are inclined to hold it in because you don't want to deal with people. You don't want to talk to people. So being an introvert, dealing with anger is a complicated situation. It's a very complicated situation, man, because you don't really want to talk to people, but you know in your mind that if you address the person, then it can do you some good. But just being an introvert, man, the introverted personality always takes over. Like, in your mind, you know what you need to do. You know that if you address this person and address the situation, it can help you mentally and emotionally. But that introverted personality just overpowers it. It's like, man, I'm good. I'll talk to him next week, or I forget this, man. I just move on. I just suppress it. So like the introverted personality, man, is powerful, man, because a lot of time, like, I ain't gonna lie, man, to a fault, being an introvert, man, has just created a lot of problems with my temper. And a lot of times I know better, man. I just don't want to do it. I just don't want to talk to the people. I just don't want to deal with it, man. I don't feel like talking to people, even when I know I need to and I should. That introverted personality just takes over, man. I just rather not. You know, and that's something that I wrestle with on a daily basis, man. Like, man, should I address this situation or not? The introverted side of me says no. And that side of me always wins, because that's the side that I've been living that reality for the longest. You know, so it's a constant battle. It's a constant war. If you're not introverted, then you have a hard time relating to it. You may not see it as a problem. Like, man, if I have a problem with somebody, I'm just going to address the person. That's you. Person that's introverted, we just don't care to do it. It ain't that and a lot of people think that you afraid and all of that. That ain't even what it is. You're not afraid. You just don't care. You don't feel like it. It has nothing to do with fear. Like, I don't fear another person. I just don't care. Like, I don't feel like talking to another person. I don't feel like addressing this problem with this person. I just don't feel like having this conversation. I don't feel like being drained by this conversation. You know, so a lot of people look at introverts as like we being in fear, us being in fear. We don't want to address people. We don't want to interact with people. We don't want to talk to people. They think like they think that's the result of us being in fear, and it's not. It's not. We just don't feel like it. Like, honestly, man, I can speak for a lot of us introverts. We just don't feel like it. We're not afraid of you. We just don't care to talk to you. We don't feel like talking to you. It has nothing to do with fear. I just don't want to talk to you. I don't feel like it. So that's a different ball game. It's a different ball game. If I had to, I could easily do it. I just don't want to. So people associate that with fear, and I just want to clear that up. It is far from fear. I can tell you, far from afraid of you. Just don't care to talk to you. Thunder for sure. And that's why a lot of times, man, when it comes to venting about certain subjects and certain experiences, man, I just got to be mindful in regards to who I share those things with, because again, a lot of people create this image of you in their head that may not be accurate. And again, man, they judge you based off of that false image that they done created of you in their mind. I don't have time for that. Just shut up and listen to what it is that I have to say. I done allowed you to vent all of these times, man. Just allow me to get something off my chest without you judging me and trying to critique what it is that I'm saying based off of a false image that you done created of me in your head and your mind. Wisdom for sure. And that's why, you know, sometimes, man, you can't force. One thing you can't do, you cannot force an unhealed person to become healed. Like, you can't force it. Like, self-savior. They're going to have to save themselves. They're going to have to heal themselves. Like, they literally going to have to do it. You can't force an unhealed person to heal himself or herself. Can't force them to see the light. You can't force a toxic person to be healthy. Can't do it. You can't do it. You cannot do it. So that's why a lot of times I don't waste time dealing with toxic people. Because at that point, I might as well talk to this wall that's right here. I know y'all done had plenty of conversations with toxic people, man, that ain't really trying to change their life for the better. Like, it's pointless. This is a pointless conversation. You end up wasting a lot of time, energy, and effort in talking to said individual. So I'd rather not waste my time. And if you're not willing to change your life for the better, and if you choosing to remain toxic, when at the end of the day, when you chop it up with a lot of these people, it revolves around choices. It revolves around choice, man. We all have a lot of choices, man. And a lot of times people just making bad choices and they don't hold themselves accountable for the choices that they have made. No accountability. We talk about this all the time. No accountability. No accountability at all. So if a person is not willing to hold themselves accountable and they just choosing to remain toxic and unhealed, I have nothing to add on to that conversation, to that dialogue, to that interaction. I have nothing to add on. Nothing to add on at all. You doing all of this complaining, you doing all of this venting, but you're not holding yourself accountable. Now that is where I have a problem. When I'm listening to somebody and they not holding themselves accountable for choices, obvious choices that they have made, then that's when I have to intervene. That's when I have to intervene, especially if it's repetitive. If you keep complaining to me about the same issues and I'm realizing a pattern, that's mathematics, realizing patterns. If I'm realizing a pattern and the common denominator revolves around you not holding yourself accountable, then I got to intervene. At some point, you must hold yourself accountable and you must make a decision. Just like you didn't made leading up to this point. You must make a decision to say, all right, I'm gonna hold myself accountable. I'm gonna make better choices from here on out. If a person is not willing to do that, then we good. We don't have anything to converse about. Like if you toxic, like, and I always go back to what I do. If you choosing to eat all these bad foods and you know these foods are bad for you, and you didn't already express to me that you don't care to eat healthy, why would I keep talking to you about eating healthy? You didn't already let it be known that you know the food is bad for you and you don't care to eat healthy. I have nothing to add on. So every time you come to me complaining about being tired, being out of shape, being obese, being overweight, like I'm finna leave because you didn't already express to me you have no desire to change. What people got to realize is when people want to change, they will change. People ain't going to change based off of you making them do it. No, people are going to change when they want to change. So you got to leave it up to them. Got to leave it up to them. I'm no longer forcing anybody to try to see things from my perspective. It doesn't work. It never works. So when people want to change, that's exactly what they're going to do. When I wanted to change, that's exactly what I did. I woke up and I'm like, man, I need to do something different. So I did. I literally did. I literally said, man, I need to do something different. So therefore, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start reading more. I'm going to change the way that I'm eating. I'm going to stop eating the meat. I'm going to stop eating the dairy products. I'm a master endurance runner. Like I started doing a lot of different things and I did that. I made the decision. I woke up one day and say, man, I need to do this for myself. People had been telling me to do things like read and watch what I eat, but I wasn't listening because I wasn't ready. So I changed when I was ready. And that's what you do. You change when you're ready. The person that you chopping it up with, they going to change when they are ready. So we got to understand that, man. We got to understand that. Got to understand that. And that's why I say listening is critical. Because the last thing you're going to do is convert somebody over to your perspective when they venting. That's why you just got to allow that person, man, to get things off their chest, man, because you're not going to be able to change the way that they viewing that particular experience when they are already angry. You know what I mean? Like they already angry. They already frustrated. The last thing they care to hear is your logic. Like they already, at that point, they are distorted mentally by that anger. They are blinded by that anger. They are blinded by that frustration. They don't care anything about your reason, about your logic, about your critique. Like they don't care anything about that. And you can't make them care anything about that. Just let them get that stuff off their chest, man. When they ready to change, when they ready to view it in another light, they will. And we just got to understand that. We got to understand that for sure. Man, for sure. Too much of anything will kill you, man. Too much of anything will definitely kill you. And Shine, peace. What's happening? What's happening? And Thunder, that's what happens too. You know, a lot of times when we start thinking about things and we say something like, man, it just feel like that happened yesterday. Like that, because that is the result of us holding on to things, man. It's like, man, that seemed like that just happened yesterday. It may have happened 15 years ago. But I done had a lot of experiences like that. Sharif, man, for sure. Exercising, listen, exercising, journaling, those are the top two things for me. Like meditation is cool, but I must say exercising is my meditation. Like exercising is my form of meditation. When I'm lifting weights, that's meditation for me. That's how I meditate. When I'm in the gym, when I'm working out, that is how I meditate. I'm chalking that up to a form of meditation. I don't care if that's not a traditional form of meditation. Exercising, like lifting weights and all that, is meditation. That's meditation for me. and journaling. That's also a form of meditation for me, man. So those things right there, man, are great stress relievers, man. Like in boxing, man, just hitting a heavy bag, man. I'm telling you, boy, when you hit that heavy bag, man, that do something to you. You know, as far as just releasing that anger and things of that nature, just relieving that anger. So those are some things that just help me, man. Just working out, heavy bag, listening to some music, man, just some positive hip hop, maybe like some jazz, blues, man, instrumentation, just things like that, man. Just affirmations on the headphones, like little stuff like that be helping. Court Gas, peace, what's happening? What's happening? Joey, peace, peace. Wisely for sure. Like I said, man, a lot of people don't understand that, man. We listen, I live by the old quote, man, fear no man. Like I don't fear anybody, man. I just don't care to deal with them. Like y'all see the world, man. Y'all see the way the world is, man. A lot of people, man, just foolish, man. It's just a lot of clowns out here. Let's be honest. It's a lot of clowns out here. So I don't really care to have conversations with a lot of these clowns, man. I don't care to have conversations with them. I do not care. I do not care to chop it up with 90% of the people that's out here, man, because for the most part, they're going to say something that I'm not too fond of. And then we're going to have another situation. So I'm like, man, I don't even really care to deal with it. Akuma, peace, what's happening? Yeah, 5-star, man. A lot of times people don't understand what being an introvert means. We selective with our communication. Like when you get us rolling, you know what I'm saying? When we trust you, like when you get an introvert and that introvert trusts you, like depending on the subject matter, if it's something that we like talking about, man, we may talk for 5 hours straight. We may never shut up if we trust you. And it takes a lot for us to trust you. You know, so if we trust you with this information, if we trust you with the information, man, we may not stop talking to you. But we real selective. Like when you an introvert, you real selective with who you really vent to, with who you open up to. You real selective with that. Like it's a select few. You can probably count them on one hand. The people that you will open up to and vent to. It might literally be one person, 1 or 2 people. So we real selective with it, man. We just not gonna open up to any and everybody out here, man. We just not gonna do that. Selective. Master Tool, people, peace. What's happening? What's happening? Oh, Andronicus, for sure. You already know, I know. Percy, for sure, man. I'm telling y'all, man, listen, the gym, working out, it's meditation. Meditation. Yeah, Andronicus, man, and that's another thing, man. That's that's part of my problem too. You know, I've had to deal with that for the longest, man, just coping with humanity. Just be honest with y'all, man. That was part of like my anger for the longest, man. I was just like, man, people are like, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, man. My philosophy in life, about 10 years ago, was just, man, people are stupid. You know, I had the worst outlook in regards to people. It was like, man, people are really out here dumb. You know, and you know, that was I just couldn't take it. I couldn't tolerate dealing with people. People used to just upset me easily. You know, you would try to have a simple conversation with a person, they just always say something that's just like ridiculous, or they always take something that you said, twist it, or put words in your mouth. Like it was just hard for me to have conversations with people without it going left. Like, dude, what are you even talking about? Like, what's happening? And a lot of people just wasn't receptive to new information. So I just got like people just was frustrating me for the longest. And I had a problem with just dealing with people, man. So I had to overcome that, just learning how to deal with people. Learning how to deal with people when they say something that just frustrates you. You know, when you come in, just even being in the fitness space, man, when people start saying dumb things about like food, like that stuff used to bother me, man. Like when people, for instance, like let's just bring up the keto diet and stuff like that. Like when people start talking bad about fruits, like, you know, 10 years ago, that would have just grinded my gears, man. I would have been frustrated. Like, dude, what are you, like, that sounds stupid. Like, how can you believe that? Like, that don't even make any sense. Like, does that make sense to you? You can eat cheese sticks, but you can't eat a strawberry. That don't make sense. Like that, something like that 10 years ago would have just grinded my gears, frustrated me, bothered me. And I would have been like, man, how are you that dumb to believe something like that? Like that, like ask yourself, does that make any sense? Like stuff like that just used to drive me crazy. Like it was things back in the day that I just could not understand how people could believe such things. And that stuff used to just bother me. I'm like, man, these people are so brainwashed out here. Like when I started to come across certain pieces of information, man, I was just like surprised at just how gullible people are, how naive people are. And it used to bother me. I used to just couldn't deal with people, man, because it just bothered me. Like it used to bother me severely. It used to bother me severely, man. And I'm just now getting better at that. Just now getting better at that. Reggie, the truth. You say, what is your definition of shadow work, and how or in what ways do you do your shadow work? I view the shadow work as being. I deal with that, or I look at that, or I view that in the unconscious mind. Like, so I view shadow work as just the unconscious side of self, which that's the side of self that has the most control. The unconscious side of self has the most control. The unconscious mind has all the power at the end of the day. So that's why, or the subconscious mind, the subconscious, unconscious, however you want to refer to it as. That's why I feel like it's important to learn how to program the subconscious or the unconscious mind, the unconscious or subconscious self. And you say, in what ways do you do your shadow work? So I'm going to rephrase it using my terminology. In what ways do you do your subconscious work? And the way I do my subconscious work, it's just like planting the proper seeds in the mind, whether I got to do affirmations, even like when my laptop, when it goes to sleep, I got positive words that flash across the screen. That's how you program the subconscious mind. Then I read positive books, things of that nature, listen to positive music, listen to positive sounds, like things like that, man. Just listen to motivational speakers, like stuff like that is how I do my subconscious work. Repeat the affirmations, even voice record myself saying the affirmation. Like a lot of times, man, it's more powerful to hear your voice instead of someone else's voice doing the affirmation. So that's how I do a lot of my shadow or subconscious work, to tap into that unconscious side, that subconscious side of self. Oh, Joey, for sure, man. And listen, I know how to be a clown. I've been around the clowns. We didn't. Some of our closest friends growing up probably were part of the clown crowd, and probably still are part of the clown crowd, man. Been there, done that. So I know how to clown out. That's why I'm not doing it. Even some of these so-called conscious dudes on YouTube, some of the ways and methods in which they got a lot of their subscribers were, it was clown-like. It's clown-like. Some of these dudes that are so-called conscious, they built their following on some clown-like methods. Let's just be real. Let's be real in the field. Some clown-like methods, man. I know marketing 101. Like, I have got a whole degree in marketing. And not to say a degree is everything, but I actually fooled with marketing. So I got the degree in marketing, but I actually was interested in marketing. So I learned about marketing outside of the school system. So I took that seriously. So I know a lot of these conscious dudes out here got their subscribers with some clown-like activities, being manipulative, man, being deceptive. That's what they did. So I know how to do it. I just choose not to. And I say that all the time. Slick Sam, peace. What's happening? Andronicus, for sure, man. Underdrifter, man. I'm not even gonna lie, man. Like, that was my philosophy for the longest, man. I'm telling y'all, man. I had 10 years ago, man, I was nihilistic, man. You wouldn't want to have a conversation with me. And I used to chunk it up. I'm like, man, I'm not pessimistic. I'm a realist. Like, I just kept it real, man. I kept it real, man. I used to say it all the time. About 2009, 2010. I used to say the world is doomed. Have no hope for humanity. Like, I used to say things like that. It was doomed. When I would analyze the world, I was like, man, look how these people are acting. We doomed. No hope. We doomed. Like I used to honestly have that perspective, man. Stuff was crazy, man. When I started doing the knowledge and I started seeing how people was acting, and I realized, man, and a lot of the books that I was reading, like predicted this. So like when you start studying like the government and when you start studying they plan for humanity and you start seeing that it's actually unfolding according to their vision, you be like, man, it's looking like it ain't gonna work. It's looking like we doomed. We walking in the direction that they want us to walk in. We walking in that exact direction. When you start studying things like the New World Order and things of that nature, they have a plan for humanity. So when you start seeing that we walking in that exact direction, you be like, oh man, this ain't good. This is not good at all. So that's when I was like, man, there's no hope. No hope. We moving in the exact way that they want us to move, that they have predicted years ago. Not even predicted, that they have written out for us. Years ago, they didn't let us know how we gonna move, and we moving just like that. Hey, Joey, man, hey, I normally don't encourage people to try to force themselves to be other than their true self. But man, hey, being an introvert might save your life. Polos, man, that's the question that I wrestle with all the time. Do you think things are going to change with our people one day? The optimistic side of myself, I want to say yes. But if I'm looking at it from a realistic standpoint, in my lifetime, I'm going to have to say no. I'm literally going to have to say no. The only thing that I can say is that you're going to have people like me, people like you, people that's on this stream. We going to always exist in small numbers. That is how I honestly feel about it. So I don't really feel like it's going to be a massive change amongst our people, sadly to say. Like, I honestly do not see that happening. We always say things like, because nothing is new under the sun. We've been saying the same things for years. Man, people waking up. Man, they were saying that in the 60s. They were saying that in the 70s. They were saying that in the 50s. We didn't always been saying, man, a lot of people waking up now. But in the same breath, most of us getting vaccinated. So how we really waking up? Oh, man, people waking up now. But then when it's time to go vote or select the president, we all lined up talking about our vote. We falling for the same tricks. So how are we truly waking up? We falling for the same tricks year after year after year. And then we start saying things like, oh, man, people out here waking up. People tired of this. No, they not. People are literally doing the same things. They falling for the same tricks. So there has not been a drastic change in our ways and actions over the years. We are literally falling for the same tricks within this system. Literally. It is always only a select few of us that don't fall for the tricks, and then we get censored, and then we get viewed as crazy. It is the same song and dance, and it has been that way for a very long time. Even when you go back to ancient cultures, like ancient Egypt, they had the mystery school. Everybody in Egypt back in the day wasn't hip. They didn't have the knowledge. So we got it. I mean, look, it's always been this way. It was only a select few that was even getting the knowledge in ancient Egypt. All the black people, all the original people in ancient Egypt back in the day wasn't walking around knowledgeable. It was only a select few that went through that system. It wasn't everybody. So it's always going to be a small percentage of us, man. And that's just the reality of it. The optimistic side of me wants to say, man, one day we all going to wake up and we all going to overthrow the government and overthrow the system, and we going to be back to this, that, and third. But the realistic side of me, like, man, it's going to always be this small percentage of us. But that small percentage of us is all we really need. So in my lifetime, that may happen to where a small group of us may come together just like they did. Small group of them controlling everything. So if a small group of us, if the right people get together, the right black people get together, the right black people get together, we can make that change. So that may happen. But as far as like the masses collectively, like 85 to 90% of the people just all awakening to the truth, no. Like, no, it's just not, man, it's just not happening. Because if it were to happen, it would have been happening. You got to look at times like when the Nation of Islam was deep, when the Black Panther Party was deep. Like this all was existing at the same time. Like if that didn't cause us to take over the wilderness of North America, in 2021, it ain't looking too good. Because now we just got way more clowns that's doing that's doing a lot of this type of stuff for clout now, because we got things like social media. So it's a lot more watered down now. You can't even trust this. You can't trust the motives of these people now. So it's way worse these days, man. You may have a person that's appearing to be a leader, man, but the whole wow, man, they doing things for publicity, they doing things for clout. You had this type of stuff back in the day, but I feel like it's more intense with social media. Because now we want the subscribers, and now we want the friends on Facebook, the followers on Instagram, and all of that. So we be doing things for those reasons, man. So it's rough, man. It's real in the field. It's real in the field, man. I really would like to see things get a lot better, and they may get a lot better, but I don't know, man. It's not looking too good. It's honestly not looking too good, man. It's just not looking too good when it comes to people awakening. And I'm talking about fully awakening. Like, we awaken when the cops kill one of us, then we go protest, we hoop and holler and say Black Lives Matter. Like that's what happens. And then a week later, we back clocking in for these white folks that we was just yelling at, protesting against, and all that type of stuff. We go clock into a system that's supporting the prison system that we were just protesting against. That's what we do. Like, that's what we do. So we really don't be about that life, man. Like, for the most part, the majority. King Kunta, you say we really need to stop Asian hate. Hey, I ain't really, listen, historically speaking, the Asians ain't never been too fond of us, but I'm not out here hating an Asian. You know, I ain't about to go out of my way to hate an Asian, but hey, we got enough problems that we got to deal with as black men and black women in this joint. Andronicus for sure, man. You know how I go. Man, I'm trying to go through y'all comments, man. Y'all know how it is, man. Give me some times real quick. RN News support from whoa. Hold up. RN, man, yep. All right. Master 2 for sure. For sure. Sneaky Beanie, peace. What's happening? Master 2 for sure, man. You already know what they trying to do, man. It's called whitewashing. I joke about this. I say this all the time, man, but people be thinking I'm laughing. I say it, man, because they do this to a lot of black images. About 100 years from now, people like Malcolm X, MLK, like these people, they gonna be viewed as white. They gonna make them white in the books. They done did a lot of people like that, man. Like 100 years from now, the image of Malcolm X, the image of Martin Luther King, like these guys, they gonna straight be white. Like they tend to do stuff like that. Hey, Percy. Hey, that's great. Like, most definitely can do a video about that. I can actually talk about that right now. Percy asked a good question. He said, will you ever in the future do a video on why so many these young rappers are getting killed? And he's talking about that Indian red boy. And that's what I was talking about when I got free. You know, I got placed in YouTube jail for 7 days for spreading medical misinformation. But then I'm on YouTube, Facebook, and I'm seeing this dude, Indian red boy, this young boy, get murdered live. Like, I don't want to see that. And I just so happen, like, I'm scrolling on my Facebook and it just automatically shows me that. And before I realize what I'm looking at, it's like, bam, I done saw it. So I'm like, this is cool. Like, this is how crazy the world is. If I say something about the vaccine, boom, they get rid of me. But if you post somebody getting murdered, it takes for the family to beg and plead for everybody to take the video down for them to take it down. Like, that's what it takes. That's what that takes. So it's okay for you to post that. It's okay for you to post a reaction video to somebody getting murdered. That's crazy. That's crazy. But what's crazy is I actually was doing the knowledge to that situation. A lot of people said he got killed. Like initially when it happened, they were saying that that young bull got killed because his friend that he was on the stream with disrespected the moral of Nipsey Hussle. Come to find out, that's not why he actually got murdered. It had a lot to do with, I guess, dude was like set tripping with the gangs, and then it had something to do with a woman. Like that's what it eventually led to. Had something to do with this dude set tripping, going from one gang to the next, then disrespecting that gang. Then it had something to do with a woman, a young girl, and things of that nature. So when it comes to these young rappers getting killed, man, some of these rappers got to understand the energy that they putting out there. A lot of these dudes have done dirt prior to rapping, prior to getting into rap, and then while they were rapping. Like I get some of my favorite Soulja Slim, like it's a favorite artist of mine. But when he got murdered, it was like you really wasn't surprised because of the energy that he put out there. Like he was out here doing the dirt before he was rapping, and then he was out doing the dirt while he was rapping. So it was only a matter of time before that caught up with him. And a lot of times, man, that's what tends to happen. Is one of two ways. You will have a person that's really about that life, that they rap, they make a name for themselves, they get millions, and they don't know how to leave the life alone, and then it catches up to them. And then you have the people that never was about that life, but they feel like if they rap about that life, then it will bring some attention to them, and they do that, and then that comes back, that catches up with them. So it's like, man, just stop glorifying that life. Stop glorifying that life. That life is nothing to glorify. When you glorify, live by the gun, die by the gun. When you glorify that life, it's liable to catch up to. It's liable to catch up to. And then, sadly enough, you got to listen to Boosie. When Boosie said, he told these rap, move out your own hometown. When you become famous, man, you cannot be walking around in the city where you grew up. You cannot do that. I would never advise for that. When you make a name for yourself and you reach a certain type of level, and I don't care what people call you, oh, he a sellout. No, listen, no, you cannot trust those people. The people that, like the ones that's gonna do you the dirties, are the people that you grew up with and around. You have got to watch them. So when you reach a certain type of level, man, you have got to move. You got to go. You got to go. You have got to go. And a lot of times, man, some of these rappers don't know how to do that. Like you done did all this dirt in Chicago, and you rapping dirty about other people in Chicago, your rivals, and then you gonna stay in Chicago. You gonna keep walking around Chicago like you invincible. All right, man. So when something happens to you, we can't be surprised by that. And then we can't ignore the role. A lot of times these sisters are being utilized to set brothers up. So we got to be mindful of that too. A lot of that's an age-old tactic. If you're trying to set up your enemy, use a woman. That is age-old. If they want to catch you slipping, they are going to use a woman. Like that is age-old tactic. Like, yep, all right, we need to catch him slipping, so we gonna send a sister his way. We're gonna send a sister his way. Like that, it's like that gets us every time. That gets us every time. Like 90% of the time when something goes down with some of these rappers, man, and some of these entertainers, man, they got something to do with a woman setting them up. So, man, that's my little spill on that, man. I got a lot to say in regards to that, man. But for the most part, these rappers need to stop dishing that energy, man. But we know when they start getting influenced by, you know what I'm saying, some of these major labels, these big corporations, they telling them that they need to put that type of energy out there because that's what the people want to hear. But like, all right, you keep putting that energy out there, man, it's going to come back to you. It's going to come back to you. So like, man, you gotta be mindful of the energy that you're putting out. When I was rapping, man, I started off on that type of stuff, man. I'm rapping about some destructive stuff, man, and that stuff started coming to me. I started getting into beefs and things like that. I'm like, nah, wait a minute. I changed up the content. Man, I'm like, man, I ain't got time for this type of lifestyle, man. I ain't rapping about this. So I changed up the content. I changed up the message for the better. And different things started coming to me when I changed up the content. So a lot of times, man, even outside of rap, when you look at the YouTube community, a lot of times that's why a lot of negativity be coming to some of these people on YouTube. Man, they fueled by the wrong type of energy, man. Like a lot of these cats are not sincerity more, man. So they getting a lot of negativity. They getting a lot of negativity, man, because they are no longer sincere. They doing things strictly for the subscribers, strictly for the money, you know, to brag and boast and things of that nature, man. The ego is involved and all of that stuff, man. So a lot of times, man, they get a lot of bad that comes back their way. A lot of negative, a lot of evil that comes back their way, man. You got to have good intentions out here, especially when you're dealing with the people. I don't know how many times, man, I done looked up and saw one of these famous YouTubers get accused of scamming the people. Even some of the people that have accused others of scamming, they are starting to scam people. So it's like, man, that's ridiculous. You become what you criticize. You like, man, such and such scam me, then you turn into the scammer. Like, man, how does that work? Ronald, the black-white thing, no, is not a setup to divide us. And the reason why I say that, the reason why I say it's not set up to divide us, it's been made to appear that way. Because again, we like different individuals. So we didn't broke down the color spectrum. We as black people, and we just gonna break it down. I'm gonna break it down historically speaking for you, because I know you from the Netherlands and things of that nature. Historically speaking, black people have never made anything out to be black and white. We never did that. Like the Africans, our ancestors, we welcomed everybody. We gave everybody a chance to a fault. We even gave the white man a chance, European chance. We allowed him to come in. We say, all right, come in. You are human just like us. We will teach you the ways of civilization. That's the type of people that we are. We never made this thing. We never looked at a white person and said, you have white skin, you are inferior, we hate, we don't like you. We never was about that life. We never was about that life. We actually helped civilize. We actually helped civilize the European. This actual fact, an honest white historian, scientist, whatever will tell you this. So we never made it out to be that way. What happened is, once we civilized them, then the European man became savage-like, turned on us, and then now we got slavery and things of this nature. And then they tried to utilize their scientists to basically provide evidence to showcase that slavery is something that's natural because black people are inferior. So they started to do this. They started to make this black and white thing. They started to make this black and white thing a problem. We never viewed it in that light. We never viewed it in that light, man. We looked at everybody as humans. That's literally what we did. So white folks took it and they corrupted it. And we just responding to it. We are literally just responding to it. So a lot of times when you see us, when you see black people, when you see us talking about white folks, when you see us talking about the black and white situation, we are responding to a situation that we was forced to be in. Because naturally, we never viewed white people as evil out the gate. We wanted to civilize them. We wanted to teach them what we knew. Hence, some of your most famous Greek philosophers, they learned from Egyptians, the Egyptian mystery school. So we was willing to teach everybody. So we never viewed people in that light, man. So if we go back to that reality, to that point, that period in history, then no, the black and white thing is not to divide. Like, it's just us being different as individuals, and we accepted you as being white, as being European, and we said, okay, you don't know these ways of civilization. We're gonna civilize you. We're gonna teach you what you know. We're gonna teach you what we know. We're gonna teach you what we didn't learn. But then again, European took that, became savage with it, turned on us, and then now we have what we have today. So initially, the black and white thing wasn't even a problem from the African worldview. The Europeans made it a problem, made it a big problem. So now we had to come out and we had to counter that, because they had a lot of terrible science out here that was trying to demonstrate why black people are inferior. You know, so once you start having information like that out here, then now we got to step up and we got to correct the error. You know, so then we got to let you know the truth. We got to let you know the actual truth. When we sending our children to your school system and you feeding them misinformation, making them look like, you know what I'm saying, white folks and Europeans and created all these theories and that's not the truth, then we got to counter that. So that's where the problem was created. Europeans taking all that stuff that we taught them, then becoming corrupt, and then not teaching the truth and whitewashing history and things of that nature. Like, that's the problem. Carl, for sure, man. For sure. For sure, man. That's the thing, man. We let the smallest things, man, really keep us divided. To the point now where I don't really even care. Like I said, simple things like religion, that's enough to keep somebody from building with you. Once somebody finds out if you black, and once somebody finds out that you're not really religious, they like, I ain't finna associate with you. You a heathen. Like, that's enough right there. You know, that's the world that we live in. Hey, Master 2, man, we putting it in. Wes, you say, do you think they are lying about how many are vaccinated? Probably so. They known for doing that, so probably so. Probably so. Moshe, man, for sure. And that's what I was saying, man. It's crazy. Like I said, man, I could jump on Facebook and just see somebody getting assassinated live, and nothing happens to that person's page. But if I disagree, and like my video wasn't even that bad, man, I was talking about a song, you know, and that gets deleted, and you threaten to ban me permanently from YouTube. Like, dude, that's crazy. That's crazy. But y'all know how it goes. As soon as you turn on the news, the first 10, 20 minutes, they let you know how many murders didn't happen. You know, so that ain't surprising. Eli, yeah, man, like, yeah, King Von's a great example, because it's like, dude, do y'all realize the dirt that young bull did? And then rapping about it, like, dude, I'm never surprised when something like that happens to people, man. I don't wish that on nobody, but it's like, man, if you doing dirt, like, it's going to come back to you, especially if you out here rapping about it and almost bragging about it. Like, yeah, I did this, I got away with it. It's like, no, that's not the proper energy. Not the proper energy. Moshe, for sure, man. Like, anybody got time for that. Like, a lot of dudes that got killed strictly off of associating with the wrong woman. Like, let's just be honest, man. Let's just be honest. Like, let's be honest, man. Like, that is a phenomenon out here, man. That happens. That happens a lot. Yeah, Trey being, man, for sure, man. Like, it's just like, dude dead. What's the point of dissing the dead person? Like, what are you gaining from dissing a person that's not here to defend themselves? Like, that doesn't even make any sense. Sneaky, and it's crazy that we say that, because it's like, yeah, the hood is all we knew. But then once we made this music and we got these millions, dudes don't really even be in the hood no more. Like, they don't live that type of life no more. Like, they literally don't be doing that. Like, they got this money, man. They in a totally different tax bracket. They doing everything legit and things of that nature, man. It's like, dude, rap about that. But a lot of times, man, they are being encouraged to rap about that hood life. You know, so we like, let's not ignore that reality. They are being encouraged to put that message out. Like, that's a fact. Man, I'm trying to catch up with the comments, man. It's like my computer out here trying to freeze again. Won't let me scroll. Jules, peace, what's happening? Ronaldo, you say who specifically made it a problem? A lot of people to really try to pinpoint it. We had several, whether you want to go, and that's why I say a lot of people talk about Asians, a lot of people talk about the Arabs too. A lot of people pinpoint it back to the Arabs, and they talk about the Arab slave trade when the Arabs were enslaving Africans and things of that nature, man. So it's a lot of other ethnic groups that have caused problems in regards to discriminating against the African at that point. The Asians had a point in time in history where they was like treating the African unfairly, man, and just being wicked toward the African. The Arabs had a point in time in history to where they was doing that. The Europeans, whether it be the Romans, the Greeks, and all of that, man, all of those groups, they had a point in time, point in history to where they were treating the people who didn't civilize them incorrectly. You know? And let me go back to Humble King J, like, and that's the thing. They only, I don't even want to say they only tell the truth when it benefits them to tell the truth. But that it would be the only time they would tell the truth, is when it would benefit them to tell the truth. Other than that, no, they're not about to tell the truth. They're not about to tell the truth. And Renald, listen to what you said. You said racism is real, but it is ignited by people who gain from it. There is no black person on the planet right now that will gain anything from racism. That's why they tell you black people cannot be like, I cannot benefit from like being racist or whatever the case may be. I cannot benefit from it. I can't collectively stop white people from excelling, from doing anything in life. I can't miseducate a whole entire group of white children. Like, I can't do that. Like, I don't control the white media. So when white people open their house, when white people turn on the TV and watch the news in the white neighborhoods, I don't control what they see. I'm not showing them all the white on white crime. Like, I don't control that. So it never benefits black people. We don't gain anything from racism. So that answers your question right there. Who benefits the most from racism? It is not one black person. There is not one black person on the planet that you can say benefits from racism. Not one. Not one. Not one. Only people, especially in America, that will benefit from any form of racism are white people. That's it. Literally. Literally. I might get killed if I say something about white people, but white people, oh, they generate wealth. They generate wealth from keeping us in a certain position and condition and state of mind. So they generate wealth. If I come out and I say anything negative about white, I'm liable to lose my life, lose all my privileges. I can't get a job. You know, so that's what happened. That's the difference. We don't benefit from racism at all. Not one bit. It does not benefit a black person, especially in the wilderness of North America. So that right there is letting you know what racism is all about, because you can't name a black person on this planet that benefits from any form of racism. I mean, we don't benefit from it. Don't benefit from no racism. We are destroyed by it. Yeah, Percy, man. Yeah, that dude was, yeah, King Von was an interesting dude. Polos, what you got? You say, one, is everybody crazy? I'm going to answer that first. I feel like we all have a little craziness in us. Some of us are more crazier than others, though. Two, we are in the clear and present danger in the U.S. Actual fact, because we are. Three, is it just me or the ladies not the same anymore? That's just an actual fact. And I'm not saying that as if it's good or bad. Just a different era, different generation of women. They definitely not the same that they were back in the day, and they really not supposed to be. So we supposed to evolve. But the question then becomes, have they evolved or devolved? So have they improved or have they gotten worse? That's what you got to ask yourself. That's what you got to ask yourself in regards to the era of women that we are currently dealing with. Have they gotten better? Have they improved upon the way women used to be, or have they gotten worse? That becomes the question. When you talk to some of the old heads, some of the elder women, they will tell you they have went backwards. That's what they gonna tell you. All these young girls, they don't like to cook no more. They don't like to clean. They don't like to hold the house down. These are This is stuff that was said to me by older women. So this is not something that I'm saying as a man. Older women have told me this. So this is what these are the Jews I'm getting from older women. So I'm just, hey, don't shoot the messenger, don't kill the messenger. The older women have told me this. Moshe, I done already had those conversations. Renaud, see, but what I'm trying to tell you, see, that's what I'm saying. The elite class, see, we got to use that, and that's where the white comes in. We use the word like elite class, like it's a mixture of people in that elite class. It's not. The elite class only exists of white people, white families. There are no black people in this elite class. Even some of the black people that we would consider elite, like Jay-Z, LeBron, it's people that control them. That's right, and they signing their check. So even when you say the elite class and they gain from it, it's like even still, it boils down to racism, because that elite class has nothing to do with black folk. We will never become part of that. A white person has a chance of becoming part of that elite class. You know, and that's why, and again, that's why I talk about the system the way that I do. Now, we're not lumping all of them in the box, in that particular box, but it is what it is. We got to call it what it is. We got to call it what it is, man. If it came down to it, and that elite class, they not finna rock with us. They gonna try to wipe us out before they try to wipe you out. Like, that's just what it is. And that's just a fact of life. Like, they gonna wipe us out before they wipe you out. They don't mind wiping you out if they had to. And that's another thing that people don't realize. Like, they don't mind killing off their own people. They don't mind doing that. But if it came down to it, they had to make a choice. We going first. And that's what it is. And that's what's happening. So you will see things like the vaccine being pushed more in the black community. Not saying white people are not getting the vaccine, but they are pushing it more in the black community because that's who they want to get rid of first. So that's what I'm talking about. That's why it always boils down to so-called race, and they make it out to be that way. We just trying to live. But it always boils down to it when you examine their ways and actions, their tactics and their strategies. It's going to always boil down to it. You're like, damn, man, why are they putting all these Planned Parenthoods in black neighborhoods? That's race. That's race. Even when you're talking about manufacturing ghettos, like, it boils down to race. They taking all the money out of that neighborhood that was once white. They defunding that particular neighborhood. Now it's broken down, and now all the black people moving in it. And then you got all these impoverished black people. Now you have crime. They manufactured that. And it boils down to race. So it always boils down to that, because that's how they have designed it. So we got to deal with it according to that level, and we got to address it as such, because that's the reality of it. You know, it's a harsh reality, but it is the reality. Travian, what you say? Regular white people who are racist don't have no power in my eyes. And at that point, when we talking about the regular white people who are racist don't have power, it ain't that they don't have power, but they benefit from the system that favors them. So that's where they acquire the power. They benefit from this system because the system favors them. So it's not that we saying that they have power over us, but the way the system is designed, they benefit more from this system than we do. We can work just as hard as the everyday average white person, but they gonna get rewarded simply because the system is going to favor them over us. And that is a form of power. They benefiting from that. They benefiting from that. You know, and that's the problem. So then when they benefit from it, then it don't take anything for them to become corrupted. And then they get into the position of power. You know, so that's the type of stuff that be going on. Renard, hey, listen, they care about white people. Like again, when it boils down to it, like I said, it's gonna come down to choices. They don't mind wiping one another out. They don't mind that. It's almost like when you dealing with certain black people that are for black people. When it comes down to it, preference wise, they gonna choose their own people. They gonna choose their own people. That don't mean that they like all black people. But when it boils down to it, if something were to pop off, they prefer their own kind. So that is the problem. That is the problem. The elites, they have made it known. They have made it known. You can look at COINTELPRO. These are all things that the elites are in on. They have let it be known that they don't care for black people, that they don't want to see the rise of a black messiah. Therefore, they go assassinate any black man that is coming with a message that can influence the masses of black people. That's letting you know. That's letting you know where they are spending their time, energy, and effort. Like they don't want to see black people rise. They don't want to see black people rise at all. And they go out of their way to make sure that does not happen. So if they had to pick and choose for a group of people to be on top, they're going to choose their own. So that's why you have all of these white owners, these white people in charge of these corporations, because that's how you maintain your power. So in a sense, the elites, they have to care about white people. They have to care about white people because they have to make sure it's enough white people overlooking these corporations so they can maintain their power to keep everything functioning smoothly. So they have to do that. They have to do that. There is no way that they can not care about white people and still keep this system intact. They got to care about their people. They got to care about their people to distribute that power to them. They got to do it. And that's, again, it's a harsh reality. But again, if it came down to it and they had to wipe some of their people out, they would. They don't have no problem doing that. But again, it comes down to preferences, man. They really don't care about black people rising up, becoming awakened. They really don't care about that. They really don't like that. They really despise that. Our car for sure. And Kenyatta, you say it has to be our priority to develop and grow and groom the next generation of black men. For sure. Yeah, for sure. We got to do it. Hey, Zenny, man, listen, I've seen some crazy things, man. So I'm already knowing. And Percy, man, it's about to happen in my area, man. I'm telling y'all, it's about to happen in my area for sure. Gentrification and all that, man. Where I'm at, I've called it. I'm calling it to the point where, the city, like the worst part of town around here, it's about to get to a point where these white people about to come back full circle because all the black people are moving to where the white people at, and now the white people don't like that, so they coming back to the areas that they once populated that are right now on the bad side of town. So that property value is about to increase because the white folks are starting to move over there. So I'm telling like black people, man, we need to start buying up this property because sooner or later, man, these white people, they're going to be trying to move back into these neighborhoods, man, and they're going to be willing to, that property value going to go up. So buy these houses, buy this land while it's cheap. And then when they move back and the property value goes up, boom, we sitting on wealth right there. We sitting on wealth. Yeah, Renard, for sure, man. But like I said, man, when you start studying When you start studying these secret groups, man, like the Bilderbergs, one thing that they gonna tell you, the thing that the white folks are able to do, and why I'm telling you that it's about them, man, they able to put their differences to the side because they feel like they got a common enemy or a common objective. Like I've literally read these books. Like these elitist white folks do not get along, but when it comes to keeping black people in a certain state, they willing to put their differences to the side. Like they have literally said this. Literally, they have said this. Like they willing to put their religions to the side to make sure the plan is carried out. Literally. Literally. Antonio, my brother, peace, what's happening? But yeah, man, that gentrification, man, that stuff is real. It's real in the field, man. People don't be understanding that. People do not understand that when black people start moving out to where white people at, give it some years and you're going to see the white people move right back to where the black people just left. That's how it goes. They don't want to see us in their neighborhoods, man. And that's just an actual fact. That's just an actual fact, man. It's just a reality. That's the reality of the situation. Like, that's just an actual fact, man. We done been there, done that. Like, it happened where I'm at. And it's about to happen again. The neighborhood that I grew up in, before we got there, before my peoples got there, it was white. When people got there, more black people start moving in. White people start flight. White flight is what they call that. White flight is what they call that. And they started moving. Boom. Like, all right, we finna go. Finna move. Property value went down. Property value went down. Now it's happening again, man. Black folks, they got tired of black folks around here. And they like, man, we gonna move where the white folks at. White folks like, all right, cool. So we finna move away. We finna move back to where y'all just came from. Oh, no, underdrifted. Hey, white people gonna always care about black people. They gonna always care about us. They gonna always have us on the radar. They gonna always have us on the radar because we are the most threatening. We are the most threatening, and that's just real. We are the most threatening. We pose the biggest threat. Once we wake up, you got the biggest problem. We pose the biggest threat to the establishment. We pose the biggest threat. And they know that. They know that. That's why behind closed doors, a lot of them worshiping the black man, the black Madonna, things like that. Isis, Osiris, Heru. Behind closed doors, that's why they worshiping black images. They know where that power is at, man. So they know they always caring about black folks. They ain't worshiping no Asians behind closed doors. They ain't worshiping no Arabs behind closed doors, man. They worshiping black images, man. They know who got the power. We just don't know that. Like, we just don't know that. But once we know that, once we realize it, hence why every time a black person that's sincere comes out, speaks this knowledge, they not gonna last. And they still killing us, man. But like, we still getting killed by the cops at an enormous rate. So yep, they still care about black people. Like they still don't want to see us thrive. They still don't want to see us elevate. They still don't want to see us get that knowledge of ourselves. They don't want to see that. Never have, never will want to see that. Never. That is never going to be a part of their curriculum to ever see that, to ever want to see that. So we got to understand that reality, man. Got to understand that reality, man. But y'all, with that being said, man, I gotta wind it down for the day, man. I feel like this is a good build. It's always a good build, always good interaction, always great dialogue. Feel like we got a lot of good things discussed, a lot of powerful things discussed. I'm gonna tap out for the night, man. So y'all enjoy the rest of this Monday. I'll probably tap in with y'all in like 2 days, man. Give y'all some time to digest. Give y'all some time to digest everything that we discussed today, man. I'm gonna come back. What is it? It's Monday, so about Thursday. So I'm gonna holler at y'all Thursday, man. Y'all enjoy the rest of this Monday. Enjoy y'all Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm out, y'all. Y'all be easy out here. Peace.